Where in Disney World does mobile order not work? What locations enforce a time limit for guests? And why is Epcot asking for my ID when I'm trying to purchase chocolate? These are all the new rules you need to know about before you start snacking around Disney World. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. We're back to talking about my favorite Disney World subject of all time, snacks. I am a big theme park snacker. I love the savory stuff. I love the sweet stuff. I love the stuff that's coated in plastic cheese. And by coated, I mean I purchased an extra cup of cheese and doused it myself. But in order to make my Disney World day of snacking a good one, I know there are certain rules that I need to follow. Either the Disney specific ones or the ones that the DFP team and I have picked up on ourselves over time. So I'm now relaying those new snacking rules to you so you can be in the know before you're on the go. First up, mobile ordering snacks from hotels might not work for you. This one's really important because it's tripping up a lot of folks right now. Every now and then I'll be in Magic Kingdom and suddenly get a hankering for one of the croissants from the Contempo Cafe Bakery case at Contemporary Resort, or an order of Tonga toast from Captain Cook's over at the Polynesian Village Resort, or a big old cup of that house-made mac and cheese from Gasparilla Island Grill. I always want that mac and cheese. That's not just a sporadic thing. Now, while it would make sense for me to mobile order from these places while I'm still in Magic Kingdom, since these resorts are all within walking distance to the park, there's a good chance that if I'm trying to order from these quick services, I'm not going to be allowed to do it. At least that's what it's going to say on my app. If you tap on a resort's quick service via the My Disney Experience app, then you might be met with a message like, at this time, mobile ordering for Captain Cook's is only available to guests staying at Polynesian Village Resort. Whatever, something like that, depending on where you're trying to mobile order from. So why do you get this pop-up? Why can't I mobile order a cup of mac and cheese even if I'm not a Grand Floridian guest? Okay, well, you can, but let me explain. This rule's been put in place to help cut down on guests using mobile order as an excuse to park at these Magic Kingdom area hotels earlier in the day to get to Magic Kingdom faster or skip over the transportation and ticket center and not have to pay for theme park parking. It's very sneaky, but it's not going to work. While resort parking is free for guests who've actually booked a room at said resort, the only way a non-resort guest is going to be able to park at one of these hotels for free, at least for a temporary amount of time, is if they have an advanced dining reservation for one of the hotel's table service restaurants. It's not going to work if you're just mobile ordering something from a quick service. So this is your reminder that if you're desperate to try my favorite mac and cheese from Gasparilla, or you want to grab a quick snack from a different resort quick service, plan to take Disney's free transportation to and from and order what you want in person, or if you're already in the Magic Kingdom, you can walk over to those nearby monorail resorts if that's what you'd prefer to do instead. Now, I will say that thing's going to pop up on your My Disney Experience app and you can ignore it and still go ahead and mobile order. But just a reminder that if you're not staying there and you're trying to park there, they're not going to let you park just to pick up your mobile order. So go ahead and do the mobile order. If you are taking Disney transportation over there, you can still mobile order and still get your food. They're not going to check and make sure you're staying there, but don't try to park there because that's not going to work. I hope that all made sense. Okay, here's our next DFB rule. Figure out what snacks you want ahead of time. Do your research. Now, I get it. Snacking can feel more like an if I'm in the mood, I'll pick it up when I see it sort of thing. However, it's good to have at least an inkling of an idea when it comes to the Disney snacks you want to prioritize, just so you know what you want to save room for and you know kind of where to go on property. For example, let's say I want to try something over at the new Blue Ribbon Corn Dog kiosk outside the Boardwalk Inn, which I definitely do, because those new deep fried Hawaiian rolls covered in cinnamon and sugar and sweetened condensed milk are insane and delicious. So depending on what you order, this could be a light snack or it could turn into a heavy snack or lighter entree option. The loaded specialty corn dogs here, like the Mexican street dog or the pickle dog or even the giant mozzarella stick, might prove to be more filling than your average classic theme park corn dog. But if you order the new deep fried Hawaiian roll, those incredible cinnamony sugary things, you'll be able to munch on that and probably still have room for a more substantial meal later on in the day. Your taste buds are also going to be ultra happy with you because those are so killer. Now, planning out your must-try snacks is also a good idea if you're going to be tasting your way around one of the Epcot festivals. Because if you decide to grab 2 to 3 options from the first few booths that you come across, you might fill up way before you get to the stuff you would have actually wanted to have. So it's kind of key to do your research here so you know everything that's at the festival and what are the best of the fest, right? That's also why we always release our updated festival videos on the DFB channel like immediately after a new festival launches, because we want to make sure you know about our personal favorites in case you think they could become your personal favorites. Yep, it's going to take a little studying on your end to find out which Disney snacks should become your must-tries. But fortunately, this kind of studying is the fun kind. Not the kind where you're cramming for your math final the night before and functioning on caffeine, ramen, and existential dread. I do not miss those days. Now, another quick DFB rule for you. It's always a good idea to study up on Disney's online menus ahead of time just so you can get a basic plan for what snacks you want to make stomach space for during your visit. That being said, don't 100% rely on what those online menus are telling you because they might not be giving you the whole story. Sometimes certain snacks that a quick service, to-go window, or kiosk is offering aren't going to show up on those online menus. This is a more common occurrence for seasonal snacks or limited quantity treats or bakery items, since baked goods can rotate out frequently, potentially offering something new each time you visit. This is why I'm always telling you not to panic when you don't see DFB favorites like the tie-dye cheesecake on the Everything Pop menu for Pop Century, or if you're not seeing the fresh pralines on either the Port Orleans Resort's food court menus. Just because it's not listed doesn't mean it's not there, so don't give up hope until you're at the location yourself and are able to ask or physically seek out the status with your own eyeballs. Also, a lot of this stuff is going to have a placard and not be on the actual menu. This is the case again with like loaded fries and stuff like that. So definitely look at the placards when you're in the location and see what else is available. Now, speaking of snacks that you can't always see on the menus, there are only a few more weeks for you to pick up our limited edition but still very free version of our DFB Best Snack Maps. Normally, you can pick up these maps at any time and have complete access to our top 10 current favorite snacks around Disney World, as well as where they're located. But for a limited time, these maps have a secret menu overlay that'll show you some of our current favorite off-menu items in each area. Go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or click on the link in the description for disneyfoodblog.com/bestsnacks after this to pick up this new version of our snack maps before they disappear. Okay, next real rule. Some snacks are only available during certain parties and events. I am invested in all the limited edition snack stuff now, so let's keep that rolling. There are some Disney World snacks that you'll be able to find year-round, like the classic Mickey pretzels or the pineapple Dole Whip, etc. And then there are the seasonal offerings, which are either going to bring new limited edition snacks to the Disney World menus or give the already existing snacks a bit of a holiday makeover. In some cases, you're going to be able to pick up the holiday versions of snacks during regular park hours, but in other cases, select holiday snacks are only going to be available during parties like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party at Magic Kingdom or Jollywood Nights at Hollywood Studios. And this can really annoy people because they see it on Instagram or they see it here and they're like, I'm going to go get that when I'm in Magic Kingdom. And it's like, no, you're not, because you have to be there for the party to get it. Let me use the 2025 Halloween goodies around Magic Kingdom as an example and as an excuse to look at all these fun themed snacks again. All day long, you can pick up Halloween or fall-themed stuff such as the Pumpkin Sundae at the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, Dole Whip Mango and Chamoy Float at Aloha Isle, the non-alcoholic color-changing Magic Potion Slushie from Liberty Square Market, and the Cauldron Cold Brew from Anti-Gravity's Galactic Goodies. But during the separately ticketed Not So Scary event that happens after the park closes, those who purchase a ticket for the event will have a ton of extra exclusive snacks to choose from, like the Cajun Crawfish and Sausage Poutine from the Golden Oak Outpost in Frontierland, the Creepy Kimchi Corn Dog from Sleepy Hollow Refreshments, the Ursula Cone from Storybook Treats, and the Skull Cake from the Lunching Pad. It's also worth noting that some of our classic favorite Disney snacks will often receive holiday makeovers, which are fun, but it does mean you won't be able to order the regular version for a while. Just something to keep in mind. Take my beloved carrot cake cookie from Trolley Car Cafe in Hollywood Studios. Sometimes this is going to be taken out of the shop and replaced by a red velvet whoopie pie. Now, this has happened most of the past few years, but not all of them. So it's great for all you red velvet fans out there, but I don't like it nearly as much as my classic carrot cake. Alas, different strokes for different folks. Okay, next real rule. Certain Epcot candies may need an ID. So drinking around the world in Epcot is about to take on a whole new meaning for you. Well, I'd say 90 to 95% of the packaged chocolates and candies that you're going to find in the World Showcase gift shops are going to be non-alcoholic, as expected. Some of them are actually filled with some sort of liqueur. For example, we've seen tequila candies in the Mexico Pavilion, chocolates filled with brandy in the Germany Pavilion, boozy caramel squares also in the Germany Pavilion, and several other alcohol-filled or infused candies. Now, if a candy is just alcohol-flavored, that's one thing. But if you can bite into it and get a gush of some sort of spirit springing forth, there's a good chance you might be carded in the shop before you're allowed to buy it. So make sure you're over 21 years of age before you try any of the boozy stuff, even if it's edible boozy stuff. Now, this has been a rule for a while over at Oga's Cantina in Hollywood Studios, but now it's transferring over to the brand new Beacon Barrel Lounge in Magic Kingdom. Beacon Barrel expands the story of Magic Kingdom's classic dark ride, Pirates of the Caribbean, in a tavern that features lots of different immersive elements like sinking ships and bottles and cocktails with tentacles coming out of the top and good old Rummy the bird who likes to keep an eye on things. Because this tavern is so new, as in it just opened on August 29th, advanced dining reservations are super hard to come by right now and probably will continue to be for a while. So you're going to have to be extra on the ball and make sure you're jumping on making those reservations just as soon as you can, which will be 60 days before your visit, starting at 6 a.m. Eastern online. Disney recognizes that advanced dining reservations are getting snatched up for this place fast, so they want to make sure to get as many people as possible into Beacon Barrel as they can. But in order to do that, each guest only has a 45-minute time frame to spend inside the tavern before they'll need to move along and make room for other guests to experience this new place. Not to worry though, 45 minutes is still more than enough time to grab a drink, grab a bite to eat, and take a look around the tavern before you have to go back out into Adventureland to continue on with the rest of your Magic Kingdom day. So once upon a time, you weren't allowed to order a Dole Whip from a place like Sunshine Tree Terrace or Aloha Isle in Adventureland to take with you inside the Enchanted Tiki Room show. It's always been a thing over in Disneyland to be able to do that, just not in Magic Kingdom. But now Magic Kingdom's Tiki Room welcomes all Dole Whip treats before you go in to wake up the Glee Club. With that being said, don't take this new rule for granted because Disney can always change their mind if they think too many people are leaving behind standard Dole Whip cups or spilling things to make those floors and benches all sticky. Accidents happen, but regardless, I don't ever want to lose this Dole Whip privilege because it's my new favorite way to spend an afternoon in Magic Kingdom. So grab your Dole Whips, grab a seat, sing along with the birds who sing words, and make sure to clean up after yourself once the Tiki Room's ready for a short siesta before the next show. When the Disney Dining Plan, aka a vacation package add-on that allows you to pay for all your meals and snacks before your vacation begins, returned after a long Disney World hiatus, many things stayed the same. But not everything stayed the same, and that goes for how you use snack credits in the parks too. Before the COVID closures struck, the old version of the DDP gave you permission to divide one quick service credit into 3 snack credits if you wanted to pay for multiple snacks at a certain location. But this is no longer an option for the current Disney Dining Plan. Usually. I'm not trying to confuse you, it's just ever since the DDP has come back around, we have seen variations on this rule. For example, at La Artisan de Glace and Epcot, cast members showed us a chart that indicated that 3 snack selections off the menu there, items like single or double scoops of gelato, a macaron, or a croque glace, could be combined to count as a quick service meal credit. I know, it's a brain tickler for sure, but in general, your default choices when it comes to the DDP should be sticking to what a credit is supposed to be designated for, instead of pushing the boundaries for what it isn't. While mileage can vary between locations, and it's always worth asking about, keep in mind that cast members will always relay answers to you that they've been told to tell you. So if you're ever told no at a certain place, leave it at that. Don't be embarrassed to ask a similar Disney dining plan question at the next dining or snack location, but don't argue with the cast member either. The Disney dining plan can feel intimidating when you first hear about it, but the DFB team and I have come up with a variety of different 101 videos on our YouTube channel to help you springboard and decide whether or not this add-on is the right fit for you. Because here's the thing, you don't have to have it if you don't want it. You can always stick to just paying for your meals out of pocket if you don't want to mess with the Disney dining plan. But if you are leaning towards purchasing the Disney dining plan, I'd highly recommend that you grab either our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining or the DFB Guide to Maximizing the Disney Dining Plan so that you can learn more about the service, including price breakdowns, insider tips, and even more rules that you'll need to abide by to make your DDP experience smooth sailing. Okay, so the highly controversial red dye number 3 is being banned from all foods and drinks in the US, and that goes for the snacks found around Disney World too. Food and drink manufacturers have until 2027 to find an alternative to the food coloring additive. So, how many snacks is that going to impact around Disney World? Well, just at the Main Street Confectionery in Magic Kingdom alone, there are actually quite a few prepackaged candies that contain red dye number 3. Like many of the giant lollipops and the taffies and the flavored popcorn mixes and rock candy sticks and Mickey cupcakes that have that fire truck red frosting. So what's going to happen to the snacks that do have all that red dye? Are they just going to up and disappear? Well, Disney has until 2027 to either get rid of these altogether or change their formulations, and we're assuming it's going to be the latter because you can make that bright red color for the sour cherry balls without the use of that red dye, so surely they can do the same for the other snacks, but we're going to wait and see. If red dye number 3 is something you're concerned about, make sure to check those ingredients lists on each product before you buy them. And in case you're wondering, we're also happy to report that Disney's candy apples, Rice Krispies, M&Ms, and Skittles do not contain red dye number 3, so those will not be affected by the ban. This isn't exactly a new rule for Disney World, but with more new places popping up around the parks that sell boozy drinks, it's time for a little refresher. Cast members are trained to limit guests to no more than 2 alcoholic beverages per transaction at quick service locations. This also often includes Epcot festival booths. This policy is intended to keep guests from overindulgence and also limits the ability for guests to buy drinks for other people using their own ID. Of course, you'll still be able to get more than 2 drinks if you're ordering a flight of beer or wine, which is all the rage over at Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. But if your Epcot group decides to divide and conquer to get multiple items from several festival booths at the same time, just keep this rule in mind because you won't be able to grab drinks for a party of 3 or more by yourself. This always kind of messes with us as we're covering the Food and Wine Festival and the other festivals in Epcot, because if we send one reporter to cover everything at the booth, then they can't buy all the drinks by themselves, so we have to send 2. Since we've been talking about the Epcot festivals off and on today, I think this is as good a time as any for me to bring up a rule that the DFB team and I have actually been doing for years, but we've really been buckling down on it lately as the festivals become more popular. And that rule is share your table. Yep, that's coming from me, a big old introvert. But if you've ever gone to an Epcot Fest before, especially on opening day or on a weekend, then you already know how frustrating it can be to find a place to eat your festival food. With Disney quietly removing many of the high top tables scattered around World Showcase, it's not uncommon that we, the people, have to awkwardly juggle plates, drinks, and utensils while trying desperately to find a place to set all that stuff down. Thank goodness for trays, y'all. Believe me, invest in one of those before you go if you plan on picking up multiple items for yourself at one booth, because you'll be glad you did. So because we understand the struggle, we want to make sure that you don't share the same struggle, which is why we always aim to share our tables if we see someone out and about struggling to track one down themselves, or we see someone who's about to resort to the trash cans, a common phenomenon during the peak of fest season. Sure, it might feel a little awkward at first, but the magic of Epcot often kicks in once you start chatting it up and swapping festival recommendations with each other, which is always our go-to. Sharing is caring, everybody, so scoot over and make room if you can. So whether it's a classic ride like Peter Pan's Flight or a brand new attraction like the latest version of Test Track, you're going to be able to bring snacks and drinks inside the ride queues to munch and sip on while you wait. You just have to make sure those drinks and snacks are finished before you board the ride, or that you have the ability to tuck them away in your bag for safekeeping. That's why I'm always the person you're going to see storing leftover snacks in a Ziploc bag or a plastic bag or whatever and tucking them back into my park bag, because if I'm not done with it yet, there's no way I'm throwing it out. That's a perfectly good Disney snack. I can't just abandon it. But I'm also not about to break the rules. So plastic baggies are it. Disney World snacking doesn't need to be complicated, but it sure does need to be fun. So if you're ready to keep your snack planning going, be sure to check out one of our many snack videos that are already out on our YouTube channel, like our best new snacks in Disney World video. And don't forget to pick up that limited edition Best Snacks Guide right now over at disneyfoodblog.com/best snacks. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.